This video's primary purpose is to discuss why and when YouTube does what it does, changes that have happened recently, and what the cause was. Russia is having a war that they really shouldn't be fighting, and China wants to claim that they control a country that they've never been able to. And you can find out whether this is true or not by looking it up through any search engine or a search function on any website. Therefore, for military reasons, the government of China and the government of Russia are attacking websites that have search functions and telling them to stop letting people find out that they're lying to their population, or they'll punish them. This has also triggered changes in policy in various websites, including Google and YouTube, and also caused them to do major screw-ups some of us are being victimized with. Instead of assuming, because this isn't the first fucking rodeo that Google's been through, instead of assuming that they should do less damage when they're being broken by somebody else, Google keeps doing bad things. Well, I'm not saying we have any hope here. I'm saying we now have maybe a hint of it. I recently updated the description and the title and the archive links of some of my videos because the original websites changed where the information was. So I used archived links like archive.org or Archive Today and made archives of them that had the short version of it using Archive Today exclusively. And that triggered an auto review of the video. Now, is this the evildoer censoring our freedom of speech? No. The video title changed because I included the word update or whatever. And I did multiple videos. I do this on a regular basis because websites screw up all the time. I've been going through all of my videos, fixing the descriptions. But that also means I have to change the title when it's got the wrong title for today's date. People right now looking up how to fix a computer to make it not get an I love you virus need to find out that this is old information I have up because now it would cause it, which means it could potentially do harm. And I have to put that warning in. But it's still useful if people are using operating systems below Windows 10 because it still works for that. But Windows 10, you do these instructions, it makes it worse. Or something like that. But what's the actual reason YouTube and Google do this? It's a search engine and a search function. If I change the title of the video and it uses the previous title information to find my video, that means it would be inaccurately presenting my video when people are looking up cupcakes or something. They're supposed to change what they rank it with. And it's caused by me changing the description and title. And now, because of the fact that Google's under attack, and because they had a policy change, and because their bot routine is trying to adjust to all of this, it's automatically flagging shit in ways that are absolutely amazingly stupid. I have a couple of obvious examples I've done recently, but we're going to do today's example about something that isn't obvious. The older video addressed and debunked misinformation presented and promoted by propagandists that were very aggressive about it, based on a Science Journal's published paper in 2011 by two researchers that now admit, recently, they made a mistake about their evaluation. It could be a video about the quantum computer not really working. It could be anything. But it was, at one time, heavily promoted as something real. I call it propaganda. In this case, it really is propaganda about the subject matter, which I'm not really covering. It could be any video. But this was a science paper, and I was doing an evaluation of it. One of the policies that may or may not be something you can look up, link below in the description, one of the few you're going to see, is Google and YouTube having to decide that experts have more value than amateurs that don't read fucking papers correctly. I know, crazy. Let me explain this. I have an expertise as a computer security technician and a person who optimizes computers for sales at a shop that wasn't a large corporation. Explaining this very briefly, we would set up computers with what's called a flat image. We would copy the entire DVD or CD to the hard drive first. That means the first part of the hard drive is taken up with something you could easily delete or not. Then we would use the hard drive, make sure it was able to start partially, and use it to install the operating system to itself using the files on the hard drive. This is massively faster than using a DVD drive or a CD-ROM drive or even a thumb drive. It's more cumbersome, it's more prone to error, but it allows us to do this. Now make it do it as fast as possible. It's called the 15-minute auto install, if you're not aware of it. All it does is basically take what we dump to the drive, dump it again over here, but in the configuration called a live CD or a live boot. It's emulating what you can do from one of those live boot CDs for Linux, or Windows To Go is a product like this. This is actually where Windows To Go came from. It creates a live copy that doesn't have any idea how your hardware works, but will always boot. It always starts to Windows, and then it runs hardware auto detect and asks you to fill out your little forms. But because I ran a shop, we would put it in a mode that's referred to as out-of-box experience build-up or prep, meaning it never asked us for passwords and logins. It just started, just like the CD can. And it said, what do you want to do? Set up drivers, pre-install them, get everything working, and test everything. It's basically running an operating system, but it's restricted. It won't let me install something off the internet without double-checking it. It really wants a virus scanner. It has a bunch of suggestions and tutorials for technicians that none of you would probably be able to process. And more importantly, it warns me if there's incompatible hardware, so I don't even bother plugging it in unless I have the drivers. It won't let me install it, and anything not compatible, it has a mode that says anything that doesn't work perfectly, immediately turn it off. Now that's great if I'm doing an install and I'm about to put drivers, but if you get it home like that, even if it has the drivers, it might do that. I have to take it out of that mode and I have to have it trust the drivers, trust the software to make the hardware work. But I can't do that in a technical situation where I'm building it. This is also how I set up the computer. If I'm trying to recover your hard drive, I set up a hard drive like this. When I shut it down, it doesn't ask me for serial numbers or anything. It won't let me do anything really fun, but it will let me make the thing work against its will. This mode is disabled right before you turn it on the first time when you get it home. Has to be, because you have to put in your serial number and your name. It plays the fun music in the background if you have a good sound card, which many people didn't, but a lot of people would set it up this way so the out-of-box experience music in the background, which is a meme on the internet, would come up. And if I gave people advice on how to set up that computer to be ironclad impossible to break into, this is where I could do some of it. I would turn off anything in the computer the customer wouldn't need. It has to have everything enabled just in case somebody needs it, but it just shuts it down when it finishes starting. But it slows up the startup. It also leaves security errors. Problems. I also might tell it, no, you're not going to go to google.com or microsoft.com. You're going to open a blank page because that's what the customer wants. Or you can't demand certain things. Or have to turn off auto-update because it's in a test environment or whatever. The point is, that mode of behavior makes it act like a pirated copy. Me telling you how to do this on the internet without you being given a license to do it is literally a violation of their contract. It's not against the law, but it's a vague area. Now, I'm a technical expert in the subject. Have I ever done a video on how to do this? A long time ago. I did it to tell you how to take outdated copies they won't cover anymore and turn them into installable versions so you could run it in a virtual machine. They don't mind that. It's the same thing, by the way. But even though it's universal, it runs slow. It won't run your video game correctly. It doesn't want to run your video card. And it will be very paranoid about anything that doesn't work perfectly, which doesn't really work if you're playing a video game and you've optimized it to shit. Some of you do that for testing it. It won't let you stress test a video card, so you won't know the video card's bad. If I give out expert advice like that, I'm presumed to be responsible for some of the consequences. Okay, what if I tell you, like Dr. Oz did, to do certain things to people who have a back injury, which he's absolutely knowledgeable of and can't claim ignorance about. And he told people to do something by a slip of the tongue that was wrong, and a bunch of people got hurt, because that actually happened. He's going to spend a month lying about it, refusing to acknowledge it because lawyers got involved. Or he could just tell everybody, I made a mistake, take the fucking video down, stop following that advice, go to your doctor, which he eventually had to do. But no, he spent a month being Dr. Oz about it. He's an idiot. He should have no licensing. If I make a suggestion about vitamins to take, can I hurt you? You'd have to do a lot of vitamins to cause an injury. It has a very low possibility of happening and a very low risk. High safety. versus heart medication, which will absolutely save one person's life, but if they don't need it, it might end another's. Made a video about bridge guy, ankle fusion on the left foot, or a frame glitch, or is it just cosplay? A witch hunt video, comment section turned off, and a bunch of other subjects. And another video I made that was about 6 screenshots that were leaked on the current crime case that may be fake, but am I, in either of these cases, am I a police officer working on this very currently open case? No, I'm not an expert. I could do harm. Should I be held responsible? Both of these videos were flagged for nudity and sexual content, which obviously can't be possible. The links never went to anything like that, except in one case with an erroneously typed out, because I manually typed it like an idiot and tested it, I thought it worked. I got the wrong link to an archive. 1 digit off can be any page. But it wasn't a porn page. None of it was. I can't even find a way to justify this. Anyway, one of them expires in 3 days. Those are the previous flaggings that are considered strikes on my channel now. Neither of them are valid, and they're not acknowledging they're not valid. One of them will expire in 3 days, so it doesn't matter. But the point I'm making here is, was I doing something that required that I have expert knowledge and could do harm? I was pointing out that somebody else is doing a witch hunt and has closed his comments because he won't let anybody defend someone who's innocent. Another person who's posting video content about image leaks that are probably not true that implicate somebody. Witch hunt. The flaggings may have been people flagging it for that because, and I didn't think of it at the time, anybody can flag your video for anything. It doesn't have to be valid. Now, I have an older video that expressed and debunked misinformation that was promoted by propagandists based on a science journal that gave authority to them publishing their propaganda, but it was a published paper by 2 researchers in 2011 that they retracted eventually. And by its nature, it had to address the misinformation. I updated it with new archive links because the original websites changed them. This triggered an SEO check and also a fact check. Should a bot decide if something's factual? If it's extremely obvious that it's not factual, maybe it should flag it like they did. Should it immediately assume ill will on my part? No. Now we're going to be discussing what has changed. I'm going to read not verbatim, but a retyped version of their boilerplate. I'm writing it the way they should write it, to make it clear. Warning, this is only slightly modified from what they said. Our team reviewed your video. We think it violates our current policies. It's 2 years old, by the way, the video. We're not applying a strike to your channel because you may not have realized this was a violation of our current policies. So please review our community guidelines to double check how your content may have violated our guidelines or may not have. If you think we've made a mistake, please appeal this decision. YouTube doesn't allow content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading misinformation of any kind. The video concerns currently administered medical treatments that are approved, confirmed as safe, and effective by the health authorities to a high level of safety and a low risk level. And it did. Now, I've explained what happened in the video to them and explained that if they want to take it down, I'm okay with it. I mean, it's one of the more popular videos, but they can take it down if they need to. But I don't believe they need to, but it's older video. It may have misinformation in it by accident. At the time, it may have been accurate, not accurate now. So, to review, if you have videos from the old days uploaded, don't alter them, that'll trigger a review. Next, the reason the reviews are fucking up is because YouTube and Google are being attacked like every other thing that has even a search box by Russia and China not wanting you to find out that Taiwan is a separate country and that Russia is attacking innocents randomly because they have a shitty aim. Or maybe they're really trying to murder people and that's it. They're committing war crimes. Happens every single war, but they do appear to be doing it deliberately, or they don't give a shit that they're doing it by accident. And Taiwan is a separate country, China, and that's something you can die for in China. Contradicting China on whether or not they have power over other people or whether they're simply wrong is something they will kill you for. And Google has to deal with their attack now. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.